Go, Oliver. You are going to space.
That was billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos blasting into space on his rocket company's first human spaceflight. Blue Origin's New Shepard capsule launched about 65 miles into the sky from West Texas this morning and spent just minutes on the edge of space before parachuting back to Earth in a fairly remarkable show of scientific achievement. Bezos' flight comes exactly 52 years after the Apollo 11 landed on the moon and Neil Armstrong took one giant leap for mankind. Half a century later, billionaires are racing to launch a new era of space travel. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is covering this story from the launch site in West Texas, and he joins me now. Morgan, you've been out there all day. It looks like this was a historic, successful flight. Did everything go according to plan?
Yeah, Garrett, according to Blue Origin, everything was about as flawless as it could be. We did see that countdown pause very briefly at the 15-minute mark. There were some last-minute preparations that were put into place. That crew safely put inside that capsule. That hatch door closed. And then when that countdown resumed, everything went according again to Bezos and the company exactly as intended. Rising from the West Texas desert floor, crossing that Kármán line, officially reaching the internationally recognized boundary of space. And what was incredible to see was when that rocket broke off from the capsule and returned exactly to the spot in which it lifted from. And then, of course, that soft landing in the desert floor via parachute and a small thruster rocket on the underside of that capsule was just incredible, as was the massive welcome celebration they found when they stepped outside the capsule. Just kind of a sea of smiles, hugs, and plenty of cowboy hats as well. Garrett?
Yeah, as a space geek myself, I was into it. Our colleague Stephanie Rule had a chance to talk to Bezos and his brother shortly after they returned to Earth. What did Bezos have to say about the significance of today in terms of both the science and his vision for the future of space travel?
Well, he had plenty to say, and he was quick to say that this is merely the first step of many. And let's not forget that it took 15 test flights to get here. This was just the first manned mission. Now that it did go according to plan, they hope to have another one in September and October, reusing the same rocket as today. And Bezos has a big picture plan in place for the future of space travel. Hear him describe it in his own words.
We have to build a road to space so that our kids and their kids can build the future. We need to take all heavy industry, all polluting industry, and move it into space and keep Earth as this beautiful gem of a planet that it is.
So while Bezos is certainly an easy target for critics to point out to and say this is merely a billionaire taking advantage of his wealth to go for a joyride in space, if he has his vision continued, there will certainly be much more to come. And I have to tell you, out here in the rough terrain of West Texas in the small town of Van Horn, they're very excited to hear that, because Blue Origin has already created some bit of an impact here for this surrounding community. Garrett?
I'm glad you brought up the criticism. In that press conference they held afterwards, did we hear Bezos address the idea that, his massive wealth, he's the richest person on Earth when he's on Earth, could be put to better use than just, for now, essentially going up into space with his brother and some other folks?
I think we heard some key acknowledgments from Jeff Bezos that kind of answered that question in their own right. Number one, he did thank the customers of Amazon for allowing him to go on this space flight to make this essentially investment in space travel happen. But then we also saw him say that in addition to going to space and to furthering that road he mentioned, that climate change is, of course, of utmost concern to him. And then we saw him make those multiple $100 million donations to go to necessary causes, and he selected Van Jones as one of those recipients. And so I think the time will tell, but right now climate change and space travel are the two things that Jeff Bezos, since he's now left Amazon, is absolutely focused on. Garrett?